It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Starting off with our top story of the day. At their meeting on Monday night, the West Bloomfield Township appointed a new township board member. Now, plenty of candidates had their names put forward for the position, which was vacated by Jonathan Warshay when he was appointed the new West Bloomfield Township supervisor in December of 2024. The candidate ultimately is a very familiar name.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Michael Patton to fill the vacancy in the office of Township Trustee pursuant to MCL 168.370A.
Here's why I'd like to support Mike Patton. I think that if we held an election today for all of the trustees, he would by far probably beat us 10-1. He is absolutely loved by the township residents. He's loved by the department. He's been a servant to the residents of West Bloomfield for 40 years, and he's done a phenomenal job. One of the most humble people that I know.
It makes me feel good to think everybody who expressed interest is a visible, dedicated member of the community, and that makes me feel good about the community we have. In my mind, the choice on this one was clear. It was a unique opportunity to benefit from 40 years of knowledge, experience, and dedication of our newly retired police chief.
It's a very unique opportunity to have somebody with this knowledge of our community who understands our departments, all the different groups in the community, has worked with the houses of worship, and just is steadfast in his dedication to the community and beloved by the community.
And the board voted unanimously to appoint the former chief in a 6-0 vote. Minutes prior, the newly retired Patton explained why he sought to continue his service before the motion by Treasurer Weingartner. Here's why he wanted to serve in his own words.
I'd like to thank everybody again for the tremendous recognition of service I received here, not only at the last board meeting in December, but at Friday's event. I was, truly overwhelmed. And I'll always be grateful for the time I spent here in the township, which leads me to the second item. The next item on the agenda is a potential posting for an appointment for township trustee. I am interested in that position, and I'll be brief. I've served this community as one of its guardians for almost 40 years, and I request consideration to continue that service to this great township as one of its trustees.
And the now trustee Patton will also serve as the board's liaison to the West Bloomfield Planning Commission. More information on township business can be found on the website wbtownship.org, and you can view the full board meetings on demand on civiccentertv.com. You can also save money with home energy efficiency tips and practices. Now, with the colder months already being here, more people are trying to find ways to keep their home cozy while also not spending so much on your energy bill. So I actually took the time to visit and get some valuable tips to help us all stay warm and save money this winter.
So the thing about sort of the greater Metro Detroit area in general is we have everything from brand new builds to homes built, in the late 1800s. So in that, you end up, really old homes, there's almost no insulation in them, right? Energy efficiency wasn't a thing back then. And then, you have homes like this one that were built, in the late 50s, 60s. There's lots of those in West Bloomfield. And those homes may have some insulation or some energy efficiency, but there are lots of things that can be done to those homes as well.
In Greater West Bloomfield, we enjoy our local lakes during the summer,
but we find ways to protect our homes from the lake effect wind during the winter.
Particularly if your home has older windows and on that lake or windward facing side, you can get like a plastic film that can go over those, because odds are you're probably not going out those windows and doors. You're not opening them this time of year anyway. So you can put something like that, because even that amount will stop quite a bit the actual physical draft when you're getting wind forcing that air in.
Some of the energy saving changes you make may depend on your current status and future plans.
So as a renter, obviously you're not going to be putting in brand new windows or things like that, but you don't really have to. There are a lot of things that you can pick up from any big box home improvement store, to stop door drafts, to wrap around windows, gaskets that seal around those things, all of that stuff. You can get window film. If your home that you're renting has older inefficient windows, you can put window film on the inside. Even things like heavy curtains, can reduce your energy loss through windows by about 10%. But as a homeowner now, depending on how long you want to live in the house, may also determine the amount of material upgrades you want to do. Things like more energy efficient windows, doors, adding insulation to your attic. If you live in an older home, there may be very little or no insulation in the attic, and that's a tremendous amount of heat loss to an attic. And there are a lot of programs that are available both through the utility companies, DTE and consumers, as well as there are state and federal programs that are called HOMES, HOMES, and HEAR, HEAR, that will give you pretty big rebates for all sorts of those upgrades.
And I want to thank Jessica Lawton, West Bloomfield resident and local home inspector, for inviting me into her home and sharing those extremely valuable tips for us all to save money on our home energy bills this winter. You can rewatch that segment, especially if you were listening on 89.3. Watch some of those visuals of some of the things that she mentioned on our website, civiccentertv.com. Click on the On Demand tab for more. Sled hills are officially open at our West Bloomfield parks. Yes, it is snow time in West Bloomfield with fresh snow covering our local area this week. West Bloomfield Parks is inviting you and me all to enjoy the winter fun with their 2 fantastic sled hills. Head over to Marshbank Park or Sled Hill behind the West Bloomfield Township Public Library at the Civic Center campus to make the most of this extremely chilly weather that we're all experiencing. Grab your sled, bundle up, and get ready to explore the outdoor fun this winter. For more information, just visit WB Parks on Facebook. Just WB Parks on Facebook for more information regarding the sleds. The West Bloomfield Educational Foundation grant boosts literacy at Scotch Elementary. Little Lakers at Scotch Elementary are making strides in language and literacy thanks to tools provided by a grant from the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation. This grant is just one example of how the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation directly supports teachers and students across the West Bloomfield School District. From innovative resources to hands-on learning tools, West Bloomfield Educational Foundation is dedicated to enhancing the educational experience in West Bloomfield schools. If you want to be a part of the mission, you can visit their website, wbef.org to learn more about their efforts. The West Bloomfield Educational Foundation, with that being said, essentially is celebrating and preparing for their big casino night. Get ready for an unforgettable evening, at the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation's Casino Night. This will be on Friday, February 7th, 2025 at the Glen Oaks Golf Club, in Farmington Hills. This exciting event supports innovative programs and educational opportunities for students and teachers in the West Bloomfield School District, like we just recently talked about. You can choose from 3 ticket levels for this casino night event: the $50 Card Shark, the $100 Diamond, or the $150 High Roller. Each packed with gaming chips, raffle entries, appetizers, desserts, late night pizza. It's going to be a very, very fun event. If you can't make it, by the way, they do have ways that you can donate as well. So find out more about Casino Night and all the efforts that they have going on, like we said, directly on their website, wbef.org, for more information. Also, stay tuned. Later on in the show, we should be joined by a volunteer of the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation's Casino Night. We'll be talking about that very, very soon. For the time being, we're all experiencing this harsh winters, on and off snow, freezing temperatures. What is the cause of some of this harsh winter storms, and how can we all manage? I am not the professional, which is why I'm currently being joined by the professional from the warning coordination meteorologist, I should say, with the National Weather Service of Detroit and Pontiac. We want to welcome Jacqueline Anderson. Thank you for joining us, Jacqueline.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here first and foremost. So on and off crazy weather, winter storms, icy, temperatures below freezing. We get it all here in Michigan first and foremost, but the winters can be a little bit harsh and a little bit moderate at times. So I just want to immediately go into some steps that we can take as West Bloomfield residents to prepare for severe cold weather that we experience, or the snow.
Yeah, so there's a few things that you can do to prepare. Always make sure you have dressing in warm layers, especially if you're going to be spending time outside. If you have travel plans, make sure you have emergency supplies in your car. And just make sure that you're taking those precautions, and always check the forecast before you leave, because you never know just how cold it might get that day or how much snow that we're expecting on a given day. So making sure that you're staying up to date with the forecast so you can prepare ahead of time is really important.
Very, very correct, especially with us getting piled up snow. You never know if your car is actually built for it until you're in that situation. So check your tires, emergency kits with flashlights, blankets, maybe heating pads, warmers, things of that, batteries and flashlights. Try to ensure that you're keeping all of these things in mind for your car and things for your home and other places that you can potentially be trapped in during these weathers. So with you representing the National Weather Service, Jacqueline, how does your organization, National Weather Service, ensure that we are all receiving timely communication from possible severe cold weathers in our area?
Yeah, so when we're expecting extreme cold, we will issue certain products ahead of time. So if we're expecting wind chills to reach 15 degrees below zero, that's our threshold for issuing a cold weather advisory. And that actually applies to either air temperature or the wind chill. So if it's a light day where it's cold and there's not a lot of wind, but the temperature is bitterly cold, we can still issue these cold weather advisories. But more oftentimes than not, we're going to be dealing with the wind chill and the combination of the cold temperatures and the wind on top of it. And if we were to, it's pretty rare here in Southeast Michigan, but if we were to run into a day where the wind chill temperatures fall to 25 below zero or colder, that would trigger what we call an extreme cold warning. Ooh. So we do have a few different products that we issue for the extreme cold to provide that tap on the shoulder and that heads up that cold weather's coming your way.
Oh my goodness, just talking about temperatures and wind chills like that is making me cold. But okay, so that kind of makes me think about one thing is crazy that people even play football in that type of weather. That's a whole nother subject. But I want to kind of ask you, this is a random question that went in my mind when you were talking about that. Some of the warnings when we are expecting this crazy below zero temperatures and wind chills, are we expecting to hear like some of those sirens? Does the National Weather Service that you represent from Detroit, Pontiac, do you all like signal those alerts that we usually hear in case of those natural disasters?
Yeah, so any of those watches, warnings, advisories that pertain to the weather, those are directly coming from us here at the Weather Service, and then they're disseminated out through all these different means of communication to make sure that people have multiple ways to get that information.
Okay, good. And then we also do our part here at Civic Center TV also to make sure we're giving out the tools and the tips and information for our local residents. Thank you again for that. Joining us right here live on the Splash, warning coordination meteorologist for the National Weather Service, Detroit Pontiac, Jacqueline Anderson, giving us some nice tips on preparing for these harsh winters. And also, I want to dive into maybe even the cause of some of these winters. I know we hear a little bit about climate control and climate change. I did get some information from an article from the Associated Press. One thing that said the U.S. witnessed 27 weather-related disasters in 2024, each causing over $1 billion in damage. I believe most of us are familiar with the hurricanes in Florida being some of the most devastating. With that being said, we haven't experienced hurricanes, but we get these on and off storms. How does a warming climate influence the frequency and severity of a polar vortex that we experience here in Southeast Michigan?
Yeah, it's tough when you hear about the warming climate, but yet we're dealing with the cold aspect of it right now. And with climate change, the big thing is that these extreme events, whether it's heat waves, extreme cold, wildfires, whether it's the hurricane seasons, a lot of we look at that from a large perspective. And when it comes to climate change, these high impact events are becoming more frequent. And that's what we're really looking at when we're trying to kind of see, how is climate change maybe impacting these cold snaps that we're seeing? Are we seeing them more frequently? Mm-hmm. Are we seeing heat waves more frequently? So that's the frequency of these more extreme events are definitely kind of tied back to that climate change aspect.
Okay. And I'm glad you kind of brought that up. I mean, if we are able to dive into that a little bit more, some more things that I found from that Associated Press article. Earth experienced its hottest year ever in 2024 on record, surpassing the 1.5 degrees Celsius warming threshold. That's 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit. This is signaling urgent climate change impacts as well. How is climate change impacting, and just go into details, the patterns and the seasonal variations that we are experiencing in Greater West Bloomfield?
Yeah, so a lot of the seasonal variations that we see, especially in the wintertime, are tied to these large-scale global circulations that are happening across the globe. And so right now we have seen the La Nina start to emerge, but it is a weaker La Nina, which means the weather patterns that we're seeing aren't necessarily staying locked in place, but we're seeing these undulations within the jet stream, these colder surges of air coming down. Then we start to moderate a little bit, and we get a little bit warmer, and then we get this additional surge of colder air. So this winter, the weaker La Nina that's moved into place, we're seeing a lot more kind of fluctuation between the really cold temperatures and then the mild temperatures. Mm-hmm. So it's all tied into the global circulation that's impacting really everyone across the globe.
Yeah, I thought it was me. I was looking at the weather ahead, and we had like a week of temperatures below freezing. Now we're getting a week of temperatures maybe at or above freezing slightly. Now we're getting on and off snow, and then the snow melts. The snow barely even stays nowadays. It's just so much to dive into, but it's also interesting to see how it all ties to what we're all seeing across the entire nation and world, to be honest. And we appreciate your information and for being here. Before we let you go, any steps that our local Greater West Bloomfield community can take, the residents, to mitigate the impacts of some of these extreme weather events caused by climate change?
Yeah, I'd say your best course of action is to not only be aware of what the weather is coming ahead in the upcoming days, but have preparedness plans in place. Have these discussions with your family, your friends, at work, whether it entails discussions about winter weather or severe weather when we get into the convective season. Make sure you're just having those conversations. Have a preparedness plan and be prepared ahead of time.
Please do. Be proactive instead of reactive, I should say. That way you are prepared for these winters that we all get on and off right here in Michigan, I should say. We want to thank you again so much for your information. Warning coordination meteorologist for the National Weather Service of Detroit Pontiac, Jacqueline Anderson. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
It's important to know about winter tips, winter energy efficiency tips, especially as we are getting this on and off snow and freezing temperatures right here in our local area. So we are happy to provide information like that. And continuing to talk about tips and how we can protect our homes, our assets, and ourselves during the winter, we're also talking about how you can save your pipes from freezing in the winter. We all need water in our home. So one thing we would hate to happen is for the pipes to freeze and you to lose access to the water in your home. So also joining us right here live on The Splash from the West Bloomfield Township Water and Sewage Department, we have Utilities Director Justin Taylor. Thank you for being here, Justin.
Thank you for having me back.
Hey, sir, we're freezing our butts off outside, but these pipes are something that we need to pay attention to, too. So just like I mentioned before, what are some steps that residents can take to be proactive and prevent our pipes from freezing during the winter?
Yeah, there are many steps that a homeowner or business owner can take to, lower your chances of that. I do have a couple visual aids with me here today.
Okay.
One of the most easiest ways to do it is with a piece of pipe insulation. This is made to fit whatever size pipe it's going over. So different size pipes take a different size insulation, especially along the exterior walls inside your home. That's where it's going to be the coldest, is along an outside wall. If those pipes run up the interior of those walls, and especially on the windward side of the house, so it's getting hit with these, polar vortex winds coming in, and it doesn't take a whole lot for that pipe to freeze. Another thing, that kind of touches on that is if you've got seal up any air leaks that you have along that edge. You can get regular wall insulation in there at the top of where the basement meets the next floor up. Get some insulation in there. Last ditch effort would be to let it run. Moving water cannot freeze. Now you just got to let that have a steady drip. Please don't, flip on your faucet full blast and just let it rip, because unfortunately your next quarterly water bill will indicate that happened.
Oh yeah.
But and I don't want that to happen anywhere.
Right. None of us do.
But if we get into that real polar vortex kind of weather, moving water can't freeze. So you just let the warm water drip in a faucet, and that keeps that water in those pipes moving, keeps that pipe warmer.
And being in Michigan, living in Michigan for long enough, we know during the winter we are definitely vulnerable to these polar vortexes that could be on and off, and just these freezing temperatures as well. So thank you for all of that information, but kind of moving into the next phase of that. Let's say we didn't insulate our pipes. We didn't let the water run. What are some signs that kind of show us that our pipes could be freezing, and what should residents do if they do notice these signs?
There's not a real telltale sign other than you turn on the faucet and you're not getting water. Now, that may not be for the entire home. That could be in an isolated area of the house where you've got a frozen pipe in the bathroom that sits against the exterior wall, something like that. Many folks here in this township, in this area of the state, are what we refer to as snowbirds. So they will go down south. Now, in those cases, you can winterize your whole house just as you would an RV, for example. You can winterize your whole house and turn your thermostat down. You don't want to turn that off unless you extremely winterize the home, which means you would have us out there to shut off the water at the stop box. You'd have to blow out all your lines, put antifreeze in your drains. Wow. That sort of thing.
Wow.
But getting back to your question, Kevin, water's going to be, it may be sluggish when you first turn on that faucet. If it comes out sluggish, or you may see that frosty consistency to it, where it's like if you're going to go get a Slurpee from 7-Eleven,
Right.
you're close to where this pipe is going to be. It's frozen. Now, just because the pipe freezes doesn't mean you're going to have a burst pipe. But the more frequent that a pipe does freeze, that as water is one of the few substances that expands as it freezes, which creates that extra pressure inside the pipe. So when that happens, and if it does over and over, that is going to find the weak spots in those pipes, eventually could lead to a burst pipe.
Interesting. Okay, so it seems like for the most part we hit a lot of the pipes, the water flows inside the And we will get back to our interview with Justin Taylor very, very shortly. And we want to thank him for all of his information as he's continuously giving us tips on what we can do to get back to helping our home and our pipes in our homes from freezing. We'll have more information and more tips for you coming up soon. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent, West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be 1 in a million.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
What people are watching in West Bloomfield. Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host for today, Kevin McIntosh. A local business has been doing a lot to actually help residents in our local community who have special needs and looking for things to do. And Civic Center TV's very own reporter, Jake Schaff, has the story.
For the last 8 years, this restaurant has been treating customers to great food and a warm, cozy environment to relax. But it's the work they do for their employees that is most worth talking about today. Soul Cafe in West Bloomfield has been well known for their employment of people with special needs, providing them with fun work experience and giving them the tools they need to succeed. It's also provided them with a close community of people they can rely on. So close that some might even call it a family.
We are a restaurant that's part of the Friendship Circle trainee program. What we really work to do every day here is to make a comfortable, safe place for individuals with special needs to come and learn, train, work in a work environment, which is all part of what the Friendship Circle is about. How this developed really was that a lot of the kids that they took such great care of became older, and the parents were looking for something for them to be able to go to and give back and do good for our community. We based our trainee program about the needs of what the restaurant is, and not only our restaurant, but the goal is to find employment elsewhere at different restaurants so that we can continue to grow the program and to continue to train and employ individuals with special needs.
It is a great program. I think that, multiple people with special needs need a program like this because it helps them and to grow, especially when people are helping them to work and train throughout the whole program. So it helps out, and I truly love it myself. So I think it's a great program. A lot of people don't have the ability to do something like this, especially when they're special needs, because they need a place to be, to be trained, to work, to socialize. So that's what we're here for. That's our actual part of being part of the Soul Cafe, is to socialize, to work, to help train, and to work together as a big family. So that's my personal feeling about this place.
If you could describe Soul Cafe in one word, what would it be?
We're all about our soul. Really, it's understanding and seeing the beauty of every soul, of every individual, regardless of where they are or who they are. Sometimes that's forgotten. We look at what their outside is or what the outside looks. But over here, we're all about inclusivity and everyone has a shining soul, and we want to bring that soul out.
It's the kind of place where you can't help but smile every time you walk in the door, as Soul Cafe continues to do great work for the community and, more importantly, continues to change lives as well. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Thank you for that story, Jake. Very, very inspiring, very touching. In case you want to stop by Soul Cafe and support everything that they have going on, they are in West Bloomfield on Drake Road, just south of Walnut Lake Road. Go ahead and stop by and pay them a visit. The West Bloomfield Educational Foundation strives to support the West Bloomfield School District, but it thrives from community help. Their big charity event is approaching, and it's the volunteers that actually make that operation happen, in case you didn't know that. So joining me live on The Splash is a volunteer from the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation's Casino Night. We have Julie Conkey. Thank you for being here, Julie.
Thanks, Kevin. Nice to see you.
Absolutely. We love to be here. Love to have you here, I should say, first and foremost. So we're talking about Casino Night, hosted by West Bloomfield Educational Foundation. This is February 7th. Just first and foremost, just describe your role with this event overall.
So with this event, I am one of the, I suppose, support staff in a way, right? So there's a huge group of parents that organize this entire event. They put a ton of work into it all year round. Mm-hmm. And then they are gathering volunteers throughout the parents of the children in the educational system. And I volunteer as a blackjack dealer, which is just a riot to do.
I bet it is. Okay, we got to dive into that. I can't wait. So with that being said, you're a volunteer. Yeah. You're their support system. How long have you been involved with WBEF and this Casino Night?
This will be my third year doing it this year. I did it 2 years ago was my first, and I'll admit I was a little nervous to do it. I play blackjack. I love blackjack, but I didn't know that I could deal it. But they have everyone there to train you how to do it. They have all the information that you need to get you ready for that night is offered, and it's so much fun, and it's so easy to do.
Yes, yes. Playing blackjack is so much fun until you're on the losing end of it, whether that's money involved or not. But I digress, whole different subject. So a few years you've been involved with the event and with the foundation. What is your motivation to continuously stay involved with the event and the foundation?
It's all about the kids, and it's all about the education. I grew up in a family of educators, and teachers just are sorely underfunded, and so many times they're pulling so much money out of their pockets and helping to support their classroom. And this event supports those teachers' grants, and a lot of these dollars go towards teachers that are bringing a STEAM program into their classroom, which balances science and tech and English and arts and math all in one. And it's so important for the development of the kids and their education. So if there's some way that we can help support the teachers where they don't have to take the dollars out of their pockets to teach our children, then I'm all in.
That's a very honorable approach, first and foremost, Julie, considering the fact that we all may have our opinions about the way things are operating or the lack of resources or whatever the case may be, but to actually be involved in helping And that's a whole nother subject. So we
Yeah.
appreciate you and thank you for your time. And to volunteer your time says a whole lot more. I want to kind of go into this atmosphere, right? For myself or anyone else who may have never been there, just describe the atmosphere exactly and what you do in that atmosphere. I know you said blackjack dealer. Just paint that whole scene for us.
Well, it's super exciting. Like I said, I started a couple years ago. I wasn't sure what to expect either. But it's all the parents from the community, their friends. I mean, we have people, I live in Sylvan Lake, Michigan, and we have lots of friends that come to the event, even if they aren't parents of students right now. And it's just like walking into a casino. It's just electric. But besides just the casino, there's dancing, there's, food, and there's a bar, and there's a silent auction. There's a ticketed auction, right? So you can win tickets while you're playing, and you can take those tickets over and win amazing prizes. I've won some really cool things over the last couple of years.
Nice.
And last year, I actually was lucky enough to win the 50-50. So that was really nice. But, yeah, it's electric, and it's fun. The first year that I did it was surprising. I had volunteered for a 2-hour slot, I think, and ended up just dealing the whole night because I just loved it. It was so much fun. And they kept coming over and saying, "You can stop." I was like, "No, I'm good. I'll keep doing this."
Right.
And it was just a great time. And then last year was so much fun because so many of the people that played blackjack with me all night the year before came back, and they were excited to see me there again. And we had another fun night. So I just have given up on taking a 2-hour slot, and I take the entire night, and we just have a riot. But if you are willing and able to come volunteer for this, we just need an hour or two of your time. You can work a ticket booth, you can help with the cleanup at the end of the night, you can help with the setup at the beginning, or you can learn how to deal blackjack or play craps and things like that. So, I mean, it's an experience that everyone should have. It's great.
Nice, interesting. You got me hyped just thinking about it and the atmosphere. And like we said, the fact that you're volunteering your time for this, and you went up literally above and beyond the time that you were even, that you agreed to, saying, "I'm enjoying myself so much. We're doing this for a great cause. I don't mind spending the rest of the evening here." So that speaks a lot to you. And with us right here, live on the Splash, volunteer from the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation's Casino Night, Julie Conkey, talking about the benefits, the joys of volunteering for such a community event like this. Now, you mentioned a few things, right? People showing up, supporting, who may not even have kids and things of that nature. You've done this for a few years. So that means you've heard things in the community, you've heard things on the inside as it's going on. Can you just talk about how the community has overall responded to this event during and outside of this event from your perspective?
I think it's been huge. I mean, the people who put this together, the parents that volunteer to put this all together are just amazing. And it's not only the people that show up there that night, but it's all the local businesses have donated to the cause. So you will be floored if you come, and I'm expecting you at my table, Kevin.
Okay.
But you will be floored when you come to see how many businesses have donated baskets full of goodies and all sorts of things that can be either won with the raffle with the tickets or the silent auction also. You'd just be amazed at the community, the outpouring of donations that come in for this, because education is so important for our kids. They're the beginning of it all, right? So, but then again, just the atmosphere when you walk in, but even the week or so before, everyone in the neighborhood's talking about it.
Exactly.
Everybody's texting back and forth saying, "Hey, you're going to casino night?" Everybody going. It is a really fun night out, and it's right in your backyard, so you don't have to go all the way downtown or anything like that. It's right in your backyard, and it supports families in this area and teachers in this area. So it's amazing.
Sweet, Julie.
Oh, there's the crew. This is the dream team. You have to see this.
Nice.
These
If you're
are
watching
all
on
the people
Civic Center
that put all
TV,
of this together.
yeah, if you're watching on Civic Center TV right now, you can see the photo of the volunteers, the
Yes.
staff that make the casino night possible for us all. We love to see those smiling, beautiful faces as well. Random question that just came to me. Are we talking about real money, real casino chips at these dealership tables?
So when you purchase your ticket, you get a certain number of chips and there's kind of a, an amount that you get. I honestly don't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head. But then, yes, you take those to the tables and you play with them. Ooh. And if you come play at my table, and you don't know how to play blackjack, which happens all the time, I'll help you learn.
Ooh.
So we'll teach you how to do it. Nobody has to come there being a gambling expert or anything like that. We will teach you how to do it. And we've had so much fun doing that over the last couple of years. It's just saying, hey, I'd hit that or I wouldn't hit that, and kind of talking about the rules. And it's a lot of fun. It's a whole experience. If you play for a couple hours at my table and you don't leave feeling confident that you can go downtown and play another time, then I failed you.
Right.
I'll teach you how to play blackjack.
I imagine it's a lot less pressure than being downtown Detroit at a real casino. Also, a lot less, a lot less pressure, more casual things of that nature. So I'm so glad you put that out there, that you are willing to help people who may not even know and want to come and support.
We don't want you to lose.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So with you also being a parent, I want to look at the other side of that, right? The receiving end of this. How do you envision, just from your from what you would like, I guess, how do you envision the funds being raised at casino night, essentially making a tangible impact on West Bloomfield students and teachers in the upcoming year?
Well, I mean, the classroom is so important, right? And then since, majority of what this goes towards ends up being these STEAM projects, that's just such a cool way for kids' brains to kind of focus on a myriad of different parts of education, bring them all together, and learn how to take those forward into their lives. And like I said, I mean, it's really, the teachers are putting their hearts on the line for this, and their time and their money and all of that. And if we can do anything to support those teachers, to bring more and more of those projects or more and more of these STEAM opportunities to our kids, it's just amazing. It's really just an incredible education opportunity, these STEAM situations, these STEAM classrooms.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe I saw something early last year that showed that Gretschko Elementary students received some materials for their eye center, all due because of the casino night and the funds that were raised there from West Bloomfield Educational Foundation. So that's just, like we said, a tangible impact that those funds are actually making, and we love to actually see that. With me right here live on The Splash, by the way, West Bloomfield Educational Foundation volunteer for Casino Night, which will be February 7, 2025. We have Julie Conkey joining us, talking about her experience overall. Just a couple more questions, don't want to hold you up too much longer. I do want to ask, is there any advice that you will give someone who is interested in either volunteering or just contributing overall to the foundation's efforts?
If anyone's interested in doing it, just do it, right? So there's so many different ways. The dollars are always very appreciated. If you have a business that's willing to help support the cause and donate something, that's amazing. If you can, just come along for the night to have a good time and bring a couple neighbors with you, so that they have the experience also, and we grow the crowd that comes to casino night, that would be amazing. But if you have an hour or two to volunteer and you want to feel really connected to your community and really connected to the other parents, they're the parents of the kids that your kids are going to school with. So if you want to feel that connection, this is a great way to do it. Just reach out. You should have gotten an email. You can reach out to your school, and they can put you in contact with the volunteer staff, and we'll find you a place. We'll find something fun for you to do, and I guarantee you'll walk out of there tired from smiling so much, and hopefully a winner chicken dinner, right?
Ooh, yes, I know, right? We all want to walk away as winners, walking away from a casino. But once again, I like that you highlighted the fact that it's about the connection. It's about building that bridge between the community and our educational systems, and even the local organization as well. Julie, lastly, if anyone is interested in finding out more about casino night or even volunteering, who do they reach out to? How can they find out more?
So if you go to that first page that you had up there, that has some information on it. Again, I'm a dealer, so I'm not one of the organizers. So that might be a question I can't answer as well. But we can get you that information.
No problem. We do have the website up right here.
Oh, there it is, the website.
Yes, if you are looking for more. Yes, WBEF, that's the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation, just the letters, .org, O-R-G. Julie, we want to thank you so much again, not only for your time here on Civic Center TV's The Splash Live, but also for your time volunteering in the community. Volunteer for the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation Casino Night, Julie Conkey. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Great to know about a big event in our community that's helping an organization that gives right back to our local school district as well. Once again, you want to find out more about Casino Night or the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation, go to wbef.org for more information regarding West Bloomfield Educational Foundation's Casino Night. The 2025 Chamber Board Installation Breakfast is scheduled for January 24th. In case you're not familiar with this event, it actually celebrates the installation of new board members of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce for the year 2025, emphasizing leadership and community collaboration. Would love to talk about this a little bit more, so there's no better person to join me in this conversation than the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, Suzanne Levine. Thank you for being here, Suzanne.
Good morning, and thank you for having me once again.
We always appreciate your time. We know it's extremely valuable, so I want to get straight to it, essentially. Asking a little bit from your position about the West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. What is your vision for the Chamber for 2025?
Well, the vision is pretty constant in the sense that we are the voice of business. So really trying to make sure that our businesses that are here and the ones that want to become part of West Bloomfield, that not only that do they survive, but they thrive. And what is the best way to make sure that they are connected to the community and other businesses that can perhaps, help support them?
And that's good to hear. That's good to hear. With you being in the position that you are in, it's great that you have that vision. So now you just got to, essentially execute the plan to make that happen. Now, with the new installation of board members, how do you feel like they align with your new vision?
Well, the board is here to not only support me in my efforts, but to really reach out to the community. These are a great representative of large, medium, and small businesses, and they are great leaders and a great resource, not just for connecting with other people, but also maybe giving them some insight into how they can best promote their business. So the board is really great. We've tried to have kind of a eclectic, different businesses, from Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, which of course is the largest employer of people in our area, to small little businesses like Linda Charter, who is part of Melaleuca. So I really try to make sure that we have a broad range, trying to represent everyone in West Bloomfield and beyond.
I'm glad you put it in perspective with that scale, going all the way from the largest employer in our Greater West Bloomfield area all the way to maybe even an individual solo entrepreneur in the Greater West Bloomfield area. So it's good to know that we have resources for these types of businesses and business owners right here in the area. Now, I want to ask about your plan and the community impact of that. How does the charter plan to address some of these specific needs that our West Bloomfield businesses and residents are facing in the upcoming year?
Well, we know that, COVID really, really hurt a lot of our local businesses. And at the time I tried to direct them to grants and resources within our community, like Oakland County and our township. Now going forward, I really have a plan of making sure that we canvass our local businesses and see what they feel their needs are. Is it more employees? Is it trying to get their word out, their name? How can they improve their reputation? Do they need resources for their employees? We have a lot of resources in the sense of we're connected to the township, we're connected to Oakland County. I know Noah Arbich, who's our representative, is always very interested to hear from them. So it's really important that they come to me, and I'm going to actually go out to them and, kind of do like a survey and see what their needs are and hopefully figure out a way to address them in a satisfactory manner.
Nice, nice. Once again, just highlighting all the resources, the different individuals that you have either part of the chamber or involved or like to hear from people in the chamber as well. It just goes to show how great that is. And with us right here live on The Splash, by the way, Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Suzanne Levine, talking about the upcoming installation breakfast, talking about incorporating new members. I want to kind of go back to that very briefly also. Any key outcomes that you are hoping to achieve from this board installation breakfast for both the charter and the community?
What I'm hoping is that there'll be a great connection, a great networking event, because it's our board. So people don't necessarily get to meet any of these board members, like Henry Ford Hospital, Judge D'Agostini, again, 48th District Court judge, who's fabulous. She loves doing this for us. So it's interesting to meet her out of court and, get all of these people's perspective on what they see for their business. It's just a great event. And of course, we're always so grateful to Civic Center TV for covering it. And I think that the best thing they can come out of it is making new alliances, because the best people to promote your business are other businesses. There's a great for people. I always tell that story about the young gentleman that opened a pizza parlor, and he said, how can I get new business? And I connected him to real estate agents. And I said, when you sell a house, let him know, and he can deliver maybe a smaller medium pizza and just say, welcome to the neighborhood. What a great way to, welcome someone and also get them to know.
Great idea.
You can give a coupon with it. So it's just, trying to figure out different strategies to help people promote their business that might not cost them that much money in advertising. And we know that when you walk into a store and then you see business cards of someone else, that you think, oh, wow, maybe this is a great business that I should look into. Maybe I will need a real estate agent down the road. Maybe I will need a home care person. So it's just a great way to, promote your business by having other businesses promote you.
That is so key to success, especially right here in our greater West Bloomfield area. I always highlight how I love to hear about different businesses, organizations, or even local leaders of authority coming together, working together for different events, different causes, supporting each other. And it's just a great thing because it sets a great example for the next generation as well. So love that we're hearing that and seeing that from your perspective in the chamber. Now, I know that businesses locally, they have to do a lot of marketing themselves to kind of stand out to the community and build that connection to the community also. But can you just talk about how the chamber itself as an overall organization helps collaborate or foster that collaboration between the businesses and our actual community?
Well, one of the things I've created within the chamber are these specialty networking groups. For example, today we had our wealth group, our wellness and health professionals, and we had it at LE Mental Health. And anyone that's interested in any kind of health, it could even be financial health, came to this meeting to network with one another. I have a senior resource group because we have so many assisted living places in our, facilities in our community. So this is also another great group that helps foster collaboration. And we know that competition is never going away. So one of the things I try to tell people when they join the chamber or they're thinking about it is, let's figure out what makes you unique. There's a lot of real estate agents, but there must be, maybe you specialize only in seniors. Maybe you specialize in commercial. Let's try to figure out what makes you different than the others. So that's what you can highlight when you're going out into the community, why they should use you. So that's one of the things that I sort of figure that is a great asset of a chamber is, trying to highlight your specific, qualifications, how we can promote it and make you stand out from the crowd. And also coming to these meetings is so important. You could send 1,000 brochures, but let's be honest, when it comes to health and money, you're not just going to go to any dentist. You're not going to turn your parent over to any home health care person.
Good point.
You're not going to give money to any financial person. Health and money are trust issues. So the more they can send even someone from their business, if they can't come, to get to know and build that relationship, that one-on-one trust is really, it's invaluable.
That was a solid point right there. You're not just gonna look in the, I'm gonna be so old school, yellow pages and just look for a doctor. I was so old school with that, or a dentist or whatever, or even a personal banking. You're gonna do research, you're gonna look for recommendations, you're gonna go by word of mouth, experience, is that type of thing. Health and finances, that's a great point, Suzanne. Glad you brought that up. With us right here live on The Splash, Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Suzanne Levine, talking about the upcoming Chamber Board Installation Breakfast, which will be January 24th, and also just talking about how the Chamber helps local businesses and provides resources in general. I want to kind of ask a little bit more about the chamber and its resources and how it helps businesses, specifically with some of the business trends. Now, we were talking about how businesses adjust to the winter and the different seasons. You know, maybe you're selling a certain product for the winter and then you adjust for the summer. But what about economic trends? How does the chamber help address some of these changing, not only economic trends, but the challenges also that they may face in the area?
Well, I know that we have tremendous resources. For example, the Small Business Administration is in constant contact with us, and I always try to send out information about they are willing to meet with the businesses one-on-one. They have training sessions for them. So does Oakland Thrive. You know, trying to figure out, you know, and I'm always trying to read about different trends, and I go to these meetings. There's a Michigan Chamber of Commerce that, you know, is basically the entire area. So, you know, trying to connect people with different experts. And I do a lot of collaboration with other chambers. I'm not, you know, worried that someone's going to like another chamber more than ours. It may be a better fit for them. Just think that the more that you can offer resources to your business partners, your community, it helps the community thrive. And I know, you know, AI is a big thing.
Yes.
I know people are concerned, is it going to be a negative or positive impact? It is going to be disruptive no matter how you try to control it, if you can control it. My older son is very much involved in San Francisco and AI, and I talk to him about it a lot. So trying to figure out how we can harness that for the good of your business. So, you know, trying to figure out the trends. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I know the experts sometimes are kind of in dispute about how that's going to work, you know, especially with the new administration coming in. Part of it is we have to see how that will work. But I know people are hopeful that the economy will, you know, be great this year. So that's what, you know, I'm an optimist. So
there you go.
I'm trying to look at that, you know, whoever's in power, it really wants to help our communities. So I'm going to continue to offer whatever classes, resources I can, you know, to see what these economic trends are. And I do believe that no matter how much, you know, people rely on Amazon, I do believe that the brick and mortar stores will survive because to me, and I'm old school, I still like to go into a store and try something on or
Me
feel
too.
the fact or
Yes.
talk to a real person. So, and that's another thing that we need to make sure that your employees are the front line. If you have the greatest product, but you have an employee that is negative, and that's their first interaction, a person may never come back and never even tell the store why they're not coming back, or a restaurant. So that's, you know, really important to, you know, make sure that if someone is having a bad day, don't impose it on someone else. I mean, you know, we all have bad days. We all don't feel well or have issues. But to me, you know, you got to put on your game face. You have to, you know, show the world that if you want to make money, that you have to, you know, kind of play this game and, you know, be in a consumer-oriented world.
Correct.
Everybody service, and that's what a brick and mortar store offers: customer service that you cannot get from an Amazon.
Good
You know,
point.
with some of these, you know, other when you order online. So.
Yeah. And you said that for both ends of the spectrum, for the business owner, the aspiring business owner, and also for the consumer. We need to take more value in these brick and mortars. The convenience, yes, it's convenient. There's a price for all things that are convenient, so consider that. So support our local businesses, local brick and mortars who are giving jobs to local residents as well. Suzanne, we want to thank you again so much for your time. I know we're running out of time, but so much to talk about. I'm pretty sure we'll get you on again. And we want to thank you from the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, Suzanne Levine.
Thank you again, Kevin, for a great interview and for all that Civic Center TV does for us, our community.
Anytime. That's what we're here. Once again, the 2025 Chamber Board Installation Breakfast scheduled for Friday, January 24th, 2025, 8 a.m. at the Connect Senior Center on 14 Mile Road in West Bloomfield. We will continuously keep you updated with everything moving in West Bloomfield, and you can stay up to date by connecting with us on all of our social medias. That's Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. We'll be on YouTube and Facebook. Well, YouTube at Civic Center TV, Facebook, Civic Center TV 15, and X and Instagram at Civic Center TV as well. I want to thank you again for watching and for joining us, and thank our producers and everybody for making this episode and Civic Center TV, The Splash Live, happen. I am your host, Kevin McIntosh, and per usual, we are live, local, and social. It is The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.